Okay, I think we're
Oh,
time. Sorry to interrupt. You can tell that story in a moment.
okay.
All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Indiana CTO Council Lunch and Learn. We're going to let everybody trickle in for just a moment and then we'll get started. Look at Jeremy already hitting up the chat to get everyone engaged. Be sure to let us know who's here in the chat. Okay, I think we're going to dive in. Thanks everyone for joining us for our monthly Lunch and Learn hosted by the Indiana CTO Council. Today we are talking about telling your story, and we're going to dive into how people are telling their stories, how telling their story about their team and their projects is helping to support their work that they're doing. And hopefully you'll be able to take away some tips, tricks, or ideas to continue to tell your story for your team. Of course, I always want to take a minute to thank our platinum partners. We have platinum partners that support us all year long, and make sure you check them out, build relationships with them. They have just contributed so much to our organization and supported the work that we do. We have our annual clinic coming up. And right now, you may have seen quite a few emails from me about trying to get people to submit proposals to present at our clinic. And we would love to have you. I popped a QR code up on the screen so you can scan that, go straight to the Google form. We're going to be reviewing those here pretty soon. And we would love to have you share about projects you've completed, work you're working on, whatever it is that can help other leaders in Indiana support their schools and organizations. So please submit those proposals. Here is our panel for today. I'm Cassie Gobin. I'm usually hosting our monthly event, and I'm going to throw it to each of the people on the screen to introduce themselves.
All right, well, I'm next to Cassie on the screen, so I'll go first here. I'm Jeremy Miller, and I'm the Director of Technology for Middlebury Community Schools.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Cloud, and I'm the Director of Technology for Carmel Clay Schools.
Hi, I'm Matt Modlin. I'm the Director of Technology for School City of Mishawaka.
I'm Bill Stein. I'm the Director of Information Systems for Mount Vernon School District down here in southern Indiana.
Oh, I'm muted. Joe hasn't made it yet. Maybe he'll be able to hop on as we are continuing. I'm going to take a minute to let Austin, one of our platinum partners from Parent Square, have a little commercial break for you.
Yeah, thank you, Cassie. Great to be here. Thank you so much for the Indiana CTO Council's partnership. We're really, and thank you for the opportunity to speak as well. Parent Square already partners with a number of districts across Indiana. We provide unified school home communications, but for those districts looking to extend that foundation, Parent Square Attendance Plus is our new chronic absenteeism solution. So it's built right into the communication platform, and I wanted to just provide a quick peek here. Attendance Plus is going to bring your attendance data in from the student information system nightly. This is the district dashboard. It gives busy administrators a high-level view of attendance across the district and schools in one place. It allows them to quickly direct resources and identify schools that are improving to scale those strategies district-wide. And then with the school dashboard, Attendance Plus makes it easy for school staff to see their attendance tiers and then dive right into the data with this table. So they can filter and sort to identify which students need the most attention this week, and take action in real time. So whether that's sending a two-way translated message to families or assigning next actions or assigning students to team members, all of this can be done right here in Parent Square from this dashboard. And then we also have a task list that allows staff to track their assigned follow-ups and caseloads in Parent Square, so they can prioritize their day. And the student profile helps staff see how they can best support the family. So this calendar helps spot trends and absences, so staff can reach out to the family, find the root cause, and come up with a solution. The intervention history is also logged, and so there's no guesswork if you have multiple staff working on attendance at a school. And then finally, all of this history is exportable to CSV for easy reference if things go to board or court, hopefully not. But Attendance Plus, it provides an efficient, streamlined methodology and it saves time for overloaded attendance teams. It's a proactive approach to find the why behind absences and really get students back in their seats. So if you want more information, please don't hesitate to reach out, or you can scan this QR code. That'll book time with me. Thank you again to the council for your partnership and inviting me to your lunch and learn.
Thank you, Austin. Of course, you can always hang around if you'd like to chime in for the rest of our discussion. So I like to ask people to do that if you are available. Okay, so we're going to kick this off with a question I'm hoping everyone can contribute to, but what does telling your story mean to you? So when you're thinking about your technology team, how you're sharing out, how you are promoting the work that you're doing, what does that mean for you and your team?
Cassie, I'll kick it off if you don't mind. When I saw that question, the thing that I think storytelling does is it makes the invisible, it makes it visible. A lot of people don't know what we do. Matt was just talking about how we're just typing on our keyboards. What are we doing? Nobody knows. It's the best known secret. So really connecting the dots between what we do and how we support teaching and learning and safety and trust. It really storytelling is a real powerful tool. You've probably all heard this before. You know, what do you guys do during the summer? You must be just bored. And that's when we need to tell our story. No, that's project time. That's busy time. So really telling a story, I feel, is very important.
Yeah, when I think about telling your story, I think of it as like you have an elevator pitch to tell people that, like, what do you do all day? How do you support learning? But more so, like, how do you find ways to have people walk along with you in that story? So if there's a problem that you're trying to solve, identify the different stakeholders and invite them to be a part of the community that you're working through and solving that problem so that they understand all of the intricacies of the solution that you're providing. And when they're out in the community and out in their school buildings, they're able to also say, well, you know, we thought about that, but we have this that impacts that. And so really finding ways to empower them to amplify your story in your buildings as well.
I would jump in there also and say, like, it's not just about telling your story inside of your district, but how you share your team and their expertise, whether it's through the HEC listserv, whether it's presenting at different conferences, helping train another district, maybe serving as a CTO mentor for another group. All of those are other ways that you tell your story, and then your story can also help grow other districts.
I would echo, I think, from my perspective, a lot of things that have already been said, but telling the story, I think the first thing that is important is making sure that people understand, you know, we're here to impact learning in a positive way in every classroom. And decisions are made and communication is very hard in any organization. And I think being out and talking to people about why decisions were made, even if it's something they don't agree with, trying to help them understand, you know, why certain things were made and as far as decisions, and telling the story that way so people don't automatically just assume that you're acting in isolation.
And one thing I've also found is that if you don't tell your story and set that up, other people will tell their story, and it may be contradictory to what the decision making was in the background. So very important to share those things out.
I agree with all this feedback. And for people who are watching, this is exactly why these people are on the panel today, because they are people who are mentoring other people. They're active in the HEC community or in the Indiana CTO Council community. So no, I'm offering up their services. No, these are all people who are willing to spend some time to invest in questions that you have, to mentor. So keep that in mind as we're kind of continuing on this conversation. Okay, so let's talk about shifting our mindset. As Bill mentioned before, sometimes it's invisible work, and we need to shift from utility to value. It's not just about keeping the internet on, right? So let's take this first question. It's often invisible work. IT is often invisible work until something breaks. And how are you proactively shifting the narrative from we fix printers to we enable learning?
So I think a couple of the things that we participate in our district to help kind of further the discussion of telling our story and how we change our narrative. Each year, our team is part of one of the school board meetings where we come forward and we share with them not just numbers about, I saw in here, beyond uptimes and tickets. We don't even talk about that when we meet with the board members, we and the public. We share with them some sort of student data privacy work that we're doing, or cybersecurity work that we're doing, or training work that we're doing, so that they are seeing things that they can do to help be a part of that conversation. We share ideas for how parents can be involved in that, for how community members can be involved in that. And so annually, the presentation takes a little different spin each year, but we make it now a presence that they expect to see us every October or November sharing that information with them. In addition to that board meeting, we also have another opportunity where we do a similar event for our community. It's called the Expedition. Each department hosts a different part of the expedition, and we take the community members through a 5-series event where they participate with different technicians on our team, and they might learn how we do fix Chromebooks at one station, but they might learn about how we help with Canvas and how we help problem solve at another station. And they might learn about student safety and digital citizenship in another station. And so participating in those events builds people in the community and in our board who can talk then about what we are doing as a department to fuel learning.
I think it's good, Christy, and I would add to that, we also have just started presenting at the school board meetings, and I think that's a great way to share a story. I think one of the things that I try to do when we present at those meetings is help the board and the community that's listening in, either in person or online, help them understand everything that touches technology in education. How do we enable learning? Well, it's everything from, we make sure that the controls for our HVAC systems are talking so that the classrooms are the proper temperature, not too hot, not too cold. It's our learning management systems. It's our wireless. It's all those things that people don't even think about because they work. And all those things come together to make sure that the learning experience can be as positive as possible.
Yeah, it's just framing your work around instructional readiness and learning readiness, I think, is less jargon and more it's about the learning that happens.
And we partner with other departments in our district, and we host 2 day-long kind of internal conferences where teachers and staff can choose some different sessions on different topics. And so we participate in that pretty wholeheartedly as a department, supporting it, from making sure that everything's working, but also offering different sessions to teachers, such as cybersecurity, what to look out for phishing, how to use some of our instructional technology to support some modern instructional practices. So I think that really helps set apart by supporting the pipes, if you will, of the building. We go beyond that by really having a lot of PD around instruction and impact. So.
Does anyone have anything to add as far as what you define as your team in terms of impact? What are you looking at? How are you defining your success in the work that you're doing?
Trust.
And maybe it's beyond, maybe it's beyond, as Christy mentioned, your uptime and, ticket stats.
Unfortunately,
Go ahead, Bill.
sometimes it's lack of complaints, right? Like that's a huge a measurement to me when we're not hearing complaints or we're not hearing things that aren't working all of the time. And we're starting to see teachers reach out and say, hey, I do want to work with the training specialist on your team. And oh yeah, that person is awesome. And I appreciate the information that they're sharing. And so when we're starting to get positive feedback from the end users, that's how we kind of can help rate the impact that we're having.
Yeah, if you don't ask for feedback, you're not going to hear those things normally. People aren't going to call you on your phone and tell you everything's great. But really having that teacher trust is just huge, honestly. And, taking every request, every problem and treating it like gold is how you build that trust.
I'm going to keep going on that, Bill, and make you an example. So I agree 100% with trust. And that's something that we've talked a lot about that this year in my department when we have our meetings. And we have implemented one of the ways that we can define our impact is getting away from the narrative that the tech department is a bunch of people just that you never see. They're not friendly. They're, just these geeky kind of guys or girls. And so we have implemented, after seeing what Bill has done, a feedback system. And it's really working with people to define how was your experience with this person that came in and took care of your issue. So when a ticket gets closed, the person that opened the ticket, they had the issue, gets a short survey asking about the friendliness of the tech, how is the relationship with that person throughout the process. And it's really as simple as a thumbs up, sideways, or down. And that's what I want to look at. How is my department being perceived? And I'm not saying this because we're doing a great job at it. We've got a long way to go, and we're working up those steps to make it better. But I want people to perceive us as helpful and friendly at the same time. Because a lot of times when they get these issues that happen, they're already frustrated. I don't want them to then be frustrated because their experience was bad with the tech. And last thing I'll say about that is one of the things that we have really worked hard at this year is when there's a ticket there that takes a little bit of time. Maybe it's because there's not a quick solution, or maybe there's a part that needs ordered and it's going to take a week or whatever to get in. After 3 or 4 days, that ticket needs to be updated every time so that person knows they haven't been forgotten. And I think it's just that communication and going back to the beginning, that helps build some of that trust.
Jeremy, I was going to say, you made me reflect a little bit. I've been doing this role for about 16 years now. And when I first came into the role, I had to overcome the perception that you only got technology help if you brought cookies to the technician, or if you, brought them a treat and that type of thing. And so some of that changed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, don't get that too far away from that.
Yeah, it takes time, right? You have to shift the culture with your staff to help them understand their importance and help them bring value to the situation. And once you start to make that shift with your staff, it becomes much easier to see the impact that you're having on teaching and learning.
Yeah, I think the cookies and all those things are still very much appreciated, but they're not done as a bribe. It's done as a token of appreciation. And that feels a lot better being on the receiving end as well, right? So
surprise and delight.
That's right.
Yeah. I agree. We've talked in my team about just the servant leadership aspect of it. So even though we don't want to just be known as the people that are keeping the internet on, when we are addressing tickets, how can we approach it from a heart that we are here to serve you and we want to take care of you. And I think that that makes the people we're supporting and assisting just appreciate the work even more. So let's hop on over to the next one. Navigating budgeting constraints. I know none of you actually deal with that, but maybe for the people who do deal with it, let's talk about how telling your story has helped you navigate budget constraints. So when things are tight, what is it that you're doing? How are you sharing your story to help support the work that you're doing? Do you have an example of where telling your story has helped you either have success in a project or helped you save a position? What are your thoughts or experiences on that?
I think the easy one is the what ifs when it comes to cybersecurity. You can really tell some stories, real life stories about other districts who have experienced a cyber attack and what that felt like and what they went through. So really bringing the cybersecurity level of importance up a few notches so you can buy those things that you need.
Yeah, definitely helping to prioritize some of your spending is helpful. Looking at student safety first and security, and then also finding ways that you can still have some ways to give that money back, right? Like, is there actually a place that you can cut? Like being proactive and identifying some of those areas and offering those out. Like I can't cut here, but I can. I think I can make some adjustments over here and kind of balance things out. So I'll go back to Christy in one of your presentations. You said no, but like yeah, you can't cut cybersecurity, but maybe over here. I've also used looking at a phone system. Like, do we have to replace the phone system? Like, well, we probably don't have to. I don't have to have phones, but I do think that it's be really important for that internal communication to happen, and it will be months. If something breaks, it'll be months before replacement. So really sharing that part of things, because as a consumer, I think if our phone breaks, we go to the AT&T store and we get a new one and we're good to go. But like being able to explain that we are really operating as AT&T, and we have a lot of work and things that go into that to be able to advocate for the replacement of those types of systems.
I think it's being creative at times as well. When we talk budgets, things are tight. For us, our student population is down, which means our funding is down. So budgets are shrinking, and creative ways to maybe move things around. We've looked at general obligation bonds and shifted quite a few things into that area. So that we can still meet the needs, but it's just a different kind of budget that it comes from. So that we don't suffer infrastructure wise or with what we want from our students.
So I can share a specific example where I feel like telling a story has helped save a position. And really another area where we're continuing to work. But we have a RACI model or RACI matrix of all the different services and things that we support in our department, aligned with the primary person responsible in the department and a secondary. And that's really come in handy to be able to show that there's a lot of services that we do offer, and these people are, as they're sitting at their computers, supporting 100 some platforms across the district. And that cross training has really come in handy with some recent staff changes where we can still offer those same services we were providing at almost the same level. Like things might take a little bit longer right now, but we're still able to operate. And so that's really been helpful for advocating for, I need a new position or I need to keep this position. And areas that we're still expanding on here locally would be to really define out that service catalog and the service level agreement on each of those items, and then the business owner and the service owner. So those things really help. Those tools really help advocate for and tell your story for a variety of different platforms that you're working on.
I was muted. empowering your team to be storytellers. I think this is huge because a lot of times we see ourselves as directors. We're kind of the people out in the forefront in front of people, but how can we work to help our team to also be the people sharing their stories and what's going on?
I did something a couple years ago. I need to do it again. But as a part of my staff's evaluations, they needed to spend a day in a classroom with a class and a teacher, and not necessarily to be there to help with technology problems, but to experience what it's like to be a teacher, to go through what it's like to get a bunch of kids logged into all their computers and have problems. Just what it's like to go throughout the day, because that builds that empathy, and you'll have a more understanding of how the teacher's life is. And I think it causes our techs to really feel that for them when they have problems. And what I did is they would come back and we had a meeting and they would all talk about their experience. So telling that story, and it was very, very interesting. And I would recommend that if you haven't done that. And do it yourself, of course, as well. It's really great.
That's a
So that's
great
like,
idea, Bill. I'm like,
Um,
I could see where you could take a lot away from that, especially if you're someone who's not from an educator background. So I was a classroom teacher. I think Matt and Jeremy also were. So maybe we have more experience. Hopefully, we're not taking for granted that knowledge and understanding that we have. But I know a lot of people on our teams do not come from that same background.
yeah. And I think that's probably a two-way street there too. One, very beneficial for the technician to see that, but also from a former teacher's perspective, very beneficial to have them care enough to come in and see it and visit and really be helpful. So I think that builds that trust for sure.
I'll
One of the things,
share. Sorry, I was going to say, I'll share one thing that I've been trying to do is encourage my people that have been successful tackling projects to either co-present with me or present at different conferences. So our school sys, we have been attending pretty regularly over the last few years, their annual conference that occurs in the summer. And so this year we submitted a proposal to do a session, one of my teammates and myself. So I think that's another way to tell your story whenever people see that we have members of our team that are sharing with other people to support outside of our building and making a larger impact. I think that provides value, not only to the people in our organization to see the work that we're doing, but I also think it encourages the people on our team and gives them confidence in the work that they're doing.
Yeah. One along that line, when I see a question come across HEC that I know one of our team members can answer and they're maybe hiding behind the scenes, I'll kind of push them to respond to that message. If we have a team member who solves a problem, I'll either ask their direct supervisor to send out a notice to the team that says, hey, here's what we learned, and special thanks to this technician for figuring out the solution. Or better yet, if we can get that technician to be willing to share their idea with our larger team. Anything we can do to kind of promote them with each other and in the larger community just helps to build their confidence as well.
I think it's important. The phone never rings because you're doing a good job. It's because there's a problem. The email blings, it's because there's a ticket with an issue. And the people on the tech staff or even our coaches are the ones going out and solving those problems. And they need to hear the feedback from staff. So I think it's important when I receive an email that talks about this person and the great job they did, to make sure we forward that on. And our feedback rating system, the thumbs up, there's a spot in there for comments as well. And I try to make sure that about once a month in one of our meetings, I just read through some of the comments about the staff so they can see that people are appreciating the things that they do. And that helps build up their confidence. It helps build up the value that they feel. And we're focusing on that positive rather than the onslaught of negative.
Jeremy, you are making me reflect on a couple other things that we've tried to do. Our school board has a recognition program called the Kudos, where you can just send them an email recognizing anyone in the district for something that they've done. And so, same type of thing that we're talking about, where like most people don't go out of their way to send the thank you to the person who waited on your table or whatnot, right? They don't send a appreciation about a technician very often because they're running behind the scenes, and so they don't get recognized. So I do two things. If by chance I happen to be the receipt of the email that says, hey, this person on your team did something really awesome, I just forward that onto the board directly because I know the person might not be taking the step. And so that guarantees they're going to get recognized that way. But the second thing that I try to do is when I receive the certificates to recognize those people, I try to now go out to the building and recognize them in their office directly, take a little candy bar wrapped with some kind of little you debugged the situation label or whatnot on it, to recognize them. I'm also doing it in their space rather than having them come to us to be recognized. And then I also, if I don't send one on to a Kudos for some reason, maybe it just doesn't read the way I want it to land at the board, I do try to call the technician directly on their phone. Sometimes I'll try to catch them on their drive home when they might have somebody else in the car with them, where I can call them and say, I don't need anything. I don't need you to do anything. I'm literally doing nothing but calling you to give you a kudos, thank you, and share with you the congratulations from another colleague who's recognizing you for your hard work. And that has gone a long way with our staff.
Yeah, it's nice to hear great things about our staff, and I really appreciate the users that are reaching out to me as their director. And I always tell them, well, I will be happy to pass along your praise to them, but it really will mean more coming directly from you. So please pass that along to the user, the technician, directly. One of the things I did with my staff, just kind of thinking about how we celebrate their wins, we did a workplace appreciation language quiz to determine how they want to be recognized. And I think back to my teaching days, there were the students there that you wanted to praise them and build them up and really share with the entire class or the whole school like how great they're doing. But they didn't want that. They didn't want to have that recognition that way. And there were students that did, and they loved that. But some students just wanted that quiet words of affirmation, just kind of say, hey, good job, and have them have that be done directly for them. Or some of them might, hey, you know what, when I do a great job, just give me a piece of candy, and that's all I want. So different people want to be shown that appreciation in different ways. So I highly recommend finding out what your team's appreciation language is.
It's great.
Jeremy Miller shared a quiz in the chat.
Great.
So you can utilize that to find your workplace. I want to say love language because everyone talks about that book. But one thing that I've done.
Same book, so.
Oh, there you go.
Same word.
One thing I've done for my team is like recently, if we've had a big certification that they've achieved, I've contacted our communications team and said like, hey, they just received this certification. Can you come take their picture with their certificate? Can we like promote that out through our, like at our school, smaller organization, we send out a Friday flyer. It's like the newsletter for the whole organization every week. And so I made a request to see, hey, can we get this in there? I think it recognizes the person and then also lets the school community know, hey, this is the work we're doing. We received this certification, and the reason why is because it's going to help us progress in these areas. So I thought that's another example of sharing out to your community to keep them informed on the work we're doing. Any other words on this topic? I think this is actually our last topic. So,
just real quick, kind of talking about what Jeremy was talking about with feedback. So we take it a step further, and we also take the comments that are made about our technicians, which are 99% positive right now. But we take those and I got this idea because I was in a Starbucks and there was like a bulletin board and then a sticky note, and customers were encouraged to write about the kind of service they had. So they'd write on the sticky pad and they'd stick it on the bulletin board. And there's all these just nice things about different employees there at Starbucks. So I did that same thing with our feedback we were getting, and I created this wall of fame that is digital, and we've got it running on our TVs here in the office, and then out in our buildings in the tech offices. That same bulletin board is running as well, and it's just people talking about our end users talking about our techs and how their service was, and it's a good affirmation for the great work they're doing. And I
That's
put
a
it in the
great
chat.
idea, Bill. I love it. I love the link that you posted here. We're not currently surveying. We've done that on and off over the years, but certainly gives me some ideas to think about.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I think that is our last. Oh, we do have one more slide, I guess. I thought it was our last one. Good. We still have a few more minutes. So, but I do think that we've touched on some of these things. We just talked about newsletters, social media. So I don't know if you guys are going to have a ton to
Yeah,
add
no,
here. But if you do, please chime in.
I was holding one back. I got one more.
Okay, good.
So we collaborate on a newsletter with the curriculum department called Cats Out of the Bag, stands for Curriculum Assessment Technology and Spotlight. So we each have a slide on there, and I will share out some good news or work that we are working on our technology slide of that newsletter, as well as like tips and tricks on different things. And then the spotlight are ways for teachers to highlight the work of other teachers, either using technology in their classroom or other ways. Also, as a member of our district cabinet, we have updates that we provide to the cabinet team there, and I think that's really crucial on telling your story so they can also amplify and also see how you are touching each one of those departments and improving, hopefully in most cases, improving what's going on there. I'm also we meet with our union monthly to discuss a variety of topics. You talked about how do you know when things are going really well. You know that things are going really well when the feedback goes through the form that you've provided after the ticket, and it's not going so well when it's in those union conversations.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to be physically present at those union conversations regularly, so that you build the relationships and the trust with the people on those teams, and also can be proactive in sharing upcoming things that may impact them, as well as seeking input from them on how you may choose to implement something. So I think that's key to keeping everything running smoothly with everybody.
Hey, Matt, you're going to love this. We have the union president, and she works in our department.
Oh, that's great.
Genius.
Yes.
I didn't plan it that way, but she's one of our e-learning coaches, and she's awesome.
That's great.
We're in the same situation, Bill.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and she's awesome as well, and is the spearhead behind our newsletters, and getting those kinds of communications out. But yeah, it's great to have that person in the department that is so trusted by the teachers and can also help advocate for us. So,
Yeah.
and yes, yay for union presidents, Patty.
Good one, Patty.
And it is a crucial partnership to maintain, and so blessed to have a good relationship with everybody there.
Okay, now we've made it to the end. So thank you, everyone, all the panelists for joining us. I feel like you did a great job sharing your stories. We're so glad to hear about them. And again, just make sure you're staying up to date with all the up and coming events for the Indiana CTO Council. Registration is open. I didn't say that earlier when I was encouraging our proposal submissions, but registration is open. It's posted on our website. You can go ahead and get registered. If you are the lead contact for your COSIN membership, you should have received an email that gives you a code to register for free And so you want to make
Free?
sure that you utilize that code for your registration. And we are always encouraged when we see early registration. So please act soon and quickly so we can get an idea of what's coming ahead. So check us out. We'll have this recording posted on our YouTube channel and shared out in our newsletter as the weeks continue on. And that's all. Have a great day, everyone. Happy Friday.
Thank you,
Thursday.
everybody.
It's
Thank you.
Thursday.
Okay.